Hey guys, it's Casual Friday. That means it's Medium Nancy Matz Friday, and we're going to be talking about whether receiving a session or a past life regression is better. We'll be right back. Grab your popcorn and snacks. Find a comfy spot, take a seat or lie down, and let me transport you to a place of fantasy, ghost stories, ancient legends, odd creatures, alien encounters, and other magical topics. You may even decide to join the conversation. From faraway lands to your own backyard, with a small dash of pixie dust, turn out the lights and open your minds. The journey is about to begin. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Charlotte. I'm going to be your host for the next hour. I'm also the owner of this wonderful paranormal team called California Haunts. We're 45 strong up and down the state of California, which means if you think you have a paranormal issue, we can get to you. It might take us a little bit because California is a big, big state. And I'm talking big, okay? I'm talking we could break off from the U.S. and we would just be our own independent country big, okay? And I know a lot of people think of California kind of like Hawaii, with the California girls and surfing and all that stuff. We do have that. Even up on North Coast where it's so cold, we do have that. But there's other parts of California when you start going inland. You've got farmland, you've got foothills, you've got mountains, everything you can think of. The state has it all. But that's why, when I say it might take us a while to get to you, that's why. And I'm talking like 2-3 days at the most. And in the case that we can't get to you right away, we do have mediums on staff who can phone you and talk to you about what may or may not be going on. And if it is something paranormal, they usually can calm the energy down until we can get out there. But again, it's not like it's going to take us months to get out there because we don't do that. If you want to find it, check us out. We're all over the web. That's why the good Lord made Google and Firefox and all those other places. So you can check us out. And I just dropped off. There is a lot going on in the neighborhood. I can tell already. Just coming online right now. And so we are going to have some weird internet issues because all this internet is on Xfinity. So it is what it is. We just go with the flow. Unlike yesterday. Yesterday we had a good day. Anyway, if you're watching from Facebook, and a lot of you are, please let me turn my volume down before the phone goes off. Please feel free to follow if you haven't done so already. And while you're watching the show, if you see and like what you hear, hit those hit those happy faces and those thumbs up and all that kind of stuff. That goes for the people listening to the RSS feed and iHeartRadio and Apple Podcasts and all those other places. Give us some thumbs up. Show us some love. Show us some love. Throw out some comments. Okay. Anyway, along that note, again, that was for Facebook. And when we talk about YouTube, we have got over 950 videos at YouTube, all of this show. All different topics, because I like to change it up. But there's a lot of videos over there. And tonight's no exception. I like to change it up. And you know what? I just totally lost track of my place. Last night's show was a perfect example with Charlotte King, who was on here talking about how she's able to tell there's going to be an earthquake. That was really cool. If you guys haven't seen that show yet, you should go over and check it out. Really cool. And I'm going to have her on again. I just thought it was absolutely fascinating. But anyway, yeah, the same thing works over there. Thumbs up, happy face, happy heart, whatever. And be sure to chat in the chat room. I see my sister's in the chat room. Welcome. So, be sure to chat in the chat room amongst yourselves up higher in what they call the For You pages. And that'll throw us out to different people. That'll share us to different places. Okay? That'll beam us out to different places. And more people. And, of course, if you're at home and you're watching this, and you're eating dinner, you got your, what can we say, popcorn and snacks and all that good stuff. And there's other people in the house that might be in another room, but you think they might be interested in what we have going on. Have them come over and check the show out, or have them check it out on their phone or whatever, because we're always looking for followers, always. So we are broadcasting live from YouTube, via StreamYard, YouTube, Facebook, and and another one. See, my mind's a blank. Hi, Marisa. And I tell you, it's one of those days. I almost said Twix on the T. I almost said Twix. Anyhow, so we are broadcasting live right now to those places. One thing I noticed yesterday, we did the show yesterday, and I was worried like that I used originally to do that show with, and when I had it all rigged up, finally in my I have a little sound recording box that I use for the phone calls, and when I had it all set up, while I was doing the show, I was hearing a definite echo, and I think it was coming from my phone area on that mic, and it wasn't only me; it was from her. I was hearing it, and so that's why towards the end you see me getting really close to this mic because I felt like causing the other mic to trigger. But what I discovered, and this is the wonders of technology. What I discovered after the show, do it on YouTube because I thought, well, I'll see if I can get the echo. If it's all echoey, I'll see if I can get it off of there with Adobe Audition. And I was going to download it and do that. I got over to YouTube and there was no echo at all. So I got to give for once, I'm giving Microsoft some credit. I'm giving StreamYard some credit because StreamYard will do automatic sound balancing. And I also work off this little Scarlett amplifier where I can hook up 2 mics and things like that. And so that will temper stuff down. Do it all on the official, on the YouTube thing. So I was real happy with that. So we came out successfully because I did use a different mic than I used 2 weeks ago for that interview. Okay. That being said, I do have some events planned. I finally got things over at Meetup. Okay, times are coming. The bills are coming due. Got to pay bills. Got to pay bills. See that thing at the bottom? Yeah, got to pay bills. Anyway, one of the events I decided to do was not so much a psychic development class, but a meditation get together. And I wanted to take you guys during this meditation to your spirit library. And by doing that, you could see your spirit object. There's always a message there for people. It's more personalized message. And you get to visit your spirit animal and things like that. The other thing I do is I take you to meet your spirit guides, and you usually, I know it sounds like I'm taking you through meditation to meet your spirit guides, and it's always a fun experience for people to actually meet their spirit guides. It's not who you expect. I know I've got family around me all the time because I'm always thinking it's my mom or my uncle or somebody. My spirit guide. No, it's somebody completely different. And that's what you learn with this. And then I teach you how to do that so you can do it on your own and you can go talk to your spirit guide and stuff. That's going to be on Saturday, 26th? The long weekend. Saturday, the long weekend. Okay? We're going to be doing the spirit guide. So that's the event. No, I'm sorry, Sunday of the long weekend. I take it back, 2 p.m. Pacific. Saturday of the long weekend, I'm going to be teaching Ghost Hunting 101. I have some team and trying to get those openings filled, and the only way for my team to approve you guys to join us is you have to take this ghost hunting class. Okay, 18 years of experience ghost hunting, and I throw it into a 2-hour class for you guys. So whoever wants to sign up for that would be great. That's over at the California Haunts Meetup site. Go on over there and check it out. The other thing we've been talking about this week, and Nancy, you'll have extra time tonight because there's no creature features on, so we can just go on tonight. Creature Features does not run Friday anymore. They're going to wait till the fall. So now the weekly show is on Saturday night. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a link out there on Meetup and on Facebook where we can just kind of all go over there and watch tomorrow night at their website. Because if I do a watch party, I don't want to take the show. When I Googled the movie in over at my watch party software, it brought in the movie, but it was a black and white version, so it's different. Creature Features is fun. It's like Halloween, right? And I mean, the people that present are just fantastic. It's just really fun and fantastic. So I didn't want to take away from that. So that's what I'm going to be doing tomorrow or later on tonight. Is I'm going to set up a little link thing for you guys, and you can join me over there. I think it's 8 p.m. Pacific tomorrow. If not, it's 9 p.m. Pacific tomorrow, and we can all sit there and watch the movie. I just wanted to have it like a more private thing, for the chat room and stuff. But yeah, the other thing I'm going to be doing is on Saturday nights. We'll see how that goes. Or earlier Saturday, I'm going to be doing a show and talk about the ghosts of the old country, and different ghosts from different states and things like that. And that's just going to be a show. It's something we're going to do over at Facebook, pretty much. For people that are on Facebook, that's going to be a big benefit for them. And that's because there's a super chat at Facebook, what I call the super chat, and it's just a way of if you guys feel like donating anything, during that show, because it's a special show, that would be great. If not, it's no big deal. But it's a little way to get more attention, try to generate stuff. because I mean the key here is I got to keep the doors and the lights going here, and it's just one of those things. Like you can see my ticker down there, but I'm going to be starting that up. I was hoping to have some cooperation from one of the other big 5 social media things, but it's not happening. So Facebook's where it's at right now. Okay, that being said, welcome, welcome, welcome. The weather has definitely cooled down. I was out working in my yard today and had a blast. Got my front yard looking all prim and pristine. I'll be working in my backyard the next week or so because it's going to drop back down to the 70s. And so I'll get that all prim and pristine, and then we'll start doing live meditations from the backyard once I get my gazebo up and all that stuff goes in. So yeah, so it's all gonna come together. Anyway, let me bring Nancy out. That was a mouthful. Oh yeah, and I discovered something too. Peep ring suckers. Oh my God, they're so good. I've been I got them from somebody and terrific. I love them, but now I can't get them. See, Easter peeps. All right, let me bring Nancy in, and we'll be on till we're off tonight. All right, here we go.
I'm so sorry. I didn't understand what you said. Peepee what?
Oh, it's gotta be funny.
What is it? What is that?
It's a candy. You know those Easter peeps that are
Yes.
flavored? Yeah.
That's all I got.
They ring pop out of them.
Please.
I know it's pure sugar because obviously, but it's pure sugar with whatever flavor the peep is. And I mean, this is great. This is really good stuff. The other, I used to.
Oh, so good for you.
Oh, I know, it's so healthy. Speaking of healthy, I used to get the high ends. Those round lollipops they always sell by the cash register. They've got like a bazillion flavors you can choose from.
Yeah.
Well, when I used to have to take a water pill, and I wanted to get my life, you take a water pill, and anybody that's not taken a water pill before, when you take a water pill, you got to pretty well put aside 6-7 hours because you're running back and forth to the bathroom. And so what I used to do, because I didn't
details.
Yeah, I didn't want to lose my day, right? Because it's a waste of time. My dad used to wait till like 3 or 4 in the afternoon, when he was done running errands. I would come in here at like 5:30 in the morning and take the pill, and then I would eat one of those lollipops. That was like my breakfast in the morning. Hey, some people do coffee. I just have sugar.
Well, we will have a talk about this here.
Yes, I'm going to get yelled at tonight. I know it's coming. It's coming. But yeah, so I did that for the first 7 months after my after my heart diagnosis, to pass the time, and then I was able to do website work and everything. But these things are great. And thank God I'm on the 4th and last one because I can stop eating them now for the show. But this is good stuff. Okay. We got a great show for you tonight. Nancy's here, obviously. I'm going to let her intro right in. Again, we're not going to be rushing through because there's no future features tonight. It'll be tomorrow night. So you have.
Yeah, when you said that, I went, how can I talk? By the way, I have really good internet, but it's running very, very slow. There must be a lot going. Maybe it's the trials, or maybe it's the replays, or what we call the talking heads are all on. People coming over for it. Even mine keeps cutting out.
Had some major issues last night.
Who?
And StreamYard. And it was to the point that they were trying to add extra servers and stuff because I was getting this blue flag. In fact, when I did the intro to last night's show, it took me 6 tries to even get in there to do a recording for the intro.
Oh, gosh.
But by the time I did the show, I guess they had it all taken care of. But I mean, I think there's a lot of internet traffic. Plus, we're still dealing with those sunspots and stuff. So I think that's wreaking some havoc.
I thought we moved past that.
I don't think so. I don't think we are yet. But go for it. I'm good.
Okay. Well, first off, Shar was so gracious about 3 days ago. She was 3 or 4 days ago. You told me how many Facebook people had seen my show last Friday night.
Yes.
And I think that finally YouTube, take it as a compliment, discovered her, and all the thousands of downloads from RSS feed, which we don't know, but just in a couple of days I had a 244, 245. So I know it's gone up, and I'm very excited to think that maybe someone's discovered me too. This is Shar's show, and she's been hopefully this will work its way up, but me too, because one of the things I want, and I mentioned this with the group, is I'll be starting my shows pretty soon. And it's all going to be on the readings. Some of these, a couple of them are going to be mentioned tonight. And it's very fun. It's going to take a lot of editing, but this is how I really wanted to spend my retirement years, plus writing the books. So I want to thank you
Absolutely.
for tuning in, and hopefully don't take it to be I'm soliciting for my own work. Don't do that. I'm doing this at my age because there's something that needs to be said. And of
Hmm.
course, if I make a living at it, so be it. But
Absolutely.
I am a tool. I want to keep telling you guys the universe is so amazing. We do not know all that's happening. Just the
Right.
idea that quantum quarks and all that filaments and all that unseen to naked eyes interacting with all of us, the music of
Hmm.
the universe. How in the world can I talk to people in different countries instantaneously? I have to fold space and time. Hello. Why can some of us do that, not others? Well,
Right.
I'm very grateful to my deceased father and grandmother and her mother, part of the Fox Sisters environment of the late 1800s. And they were all very gifted people. And then as an adult, my mother finally surrendered after I entertained the people in her retirement complex. She says I was the most popular lady for a whole month. I go, really on. And she says, well, I didn't tell you. I've always been very intuitive. And I go, oh my God, I got the Indians on my mother's side and the leprechauns on the other side. I got double whammy. So no wonder. And anyway, that's for another topic. But thank you everybody
Well,
for tuning in.
I'm going to add to
Yeah.
that as you said that. In fact, as of this afternoon, I'm not going to give you guys the exact number because I don't want to jinx it. But
Don't
let's
dream.
just say, yeah, we're doing so good. Let's not put us in the toilet this week. But we are 200 away from what we had last month for downloads, and we've got
From
2 weeks to
RSS
go.
feed
So
at the same
yes,
time.
so we are going to surpass that. I'm seeing the growth on, like you say, I'm seeing the growth on Facebook as well. With views, I'm seeing the growth over at YouTube as well,
Yes.
and so
Okay.
and Twitch. That was the T one I couldn't remember. Twitch. So I mean, it is definitely going up, and people are
You know,
starting
honey,
to.
that's called senior moments.
I
I've had
have
so
a
many,
lot of
I'm
those.
so senior, I'm having the senior moments. I
I
love it.
have a
That's
lot
why
of
I typed
those.
it. So this
Okay.
topic, I picked this topic because I've had a lot of past life regression readings plus past life regression. And I include those three kinds of reading. You're going to have the regular reading, which I love doing. It's so invigorating to me that I'm helping people survive their life. And that was the very reason why I got into this. After
Hmm.
cancer in 87, divorce in 88, uh, and then in 1990, I asked the universe, thank you for my life and my sanity. And if you wish, I'll work for you the rest of my life. And I was in my car, a Toyota Corolla. And I was going down the freeway from Auburn, California to North Highlands. And halfway there, on my birthday, April 30th, 1990, I said, thank you. And the car went, and I went, car, a wheel fall? I mean, I really doubted it.
Hmm.
And I had that sense of someone listening. We got her. Yay. You know, I'm a tool. I work for them. I work for the
Hmm.
universe and I get very emotional about it. So Spirit of Grace was the following Friday. When the universe told me to go shopping, of course, at that point I was plugged in already. And I was directed to the Spirit of Grace, Universal Christ of the Master, UCM, Universal Christ Master Spiritist Church. And I worked there for 15 years, got my ministry as a Spiritist minister. And I haven't stopped talking since 1990 in this. And that I also add 2 years later, when I got the ministry, they told me I could quit the other job. And the other job was 24 years with Pacific Bell, of which the last 7 or 8 was manager at engineering in Auburn, California. So this has been quite a journey. And yes, I hear people adding all that up. But this is amazing to me. I encourage anybody with the passion to want to do this. You have to have the passion, you have to have the ability, but you also have to follow some rules. And so I'm not going to get into tonight. We can always talk about it in a different time. But one of the things I always, if you are not physically fit, I've had some health challenges just like Shar has, but in all that, I've always been physically fit. I'm exercise, my muscle mass is where we get our electricity. Without that, I wouldn't have the endurance. Like I'll talk 4, 5, 6 hours a day and then have the show tonight. Today was
Hmm.
not as busy, but there are times when I've talked people wouldn't, it's not all paid. Hushar, she
Right,
calls me
right,
too.
right, right, right,
Yeah,
right,
right.
right.
So tonight is kind of a trifold, receiving a session, and I'm not going to go into what is possible, but anything you can think of is I can cover. And then during the session, I'm just an instrument, the tool, and I'll be sitting here talking. All of a sudden, a past life will pop up, and I'm going looking, I'm going, really? Okay, what do I do with this, right? And so I have to be careful because people like myself will pick up information. If you don't release it, guess what? You get to keep it. And so it's really hard. And I have to think about how to interject what I'm getting into a language, my language, into whoever's listening. I'm not sure I'm on. I keep falling off the screen, so do you, Shar. So let's keep going. So
Yeah.
during this a session, a past life will come through. And then you have the third option, a planned past life regression.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like that also. It's not asked of me so often because they'd rather spend the money getting the session because I can cover, and I'll give you some examples, just a couple. And these are a couple that I'll be doing on my show, but to a greater intent here. Um, it's amazing. I talk about this, and then just in these past 2 weeks, I've had some amazing encounters with clients. Not all of them. I don't want those of you who've had readings with me the last 2 weeks go, oh my gosh, you're talking about me. I'll be very discreet. But I do want to address some things that may come up that may interest you and also alleviate some uh, doubt. So we'll go on. Remember, you choose a life for the purpose of that life, irregardless. And I am who I am because of the strife I had to go through. How can I understand the problems that you have if I hadn't already, including
Mm-hmm.
near death a couple times, and near death experience also that I never ever talk about because I was so young, and that experience has never left my mind. And
Mm-hmm.
some of the things have happened to me, uh, and I wonder sometimes if the union says, well, we got to keep her good. We're going to stress our life out really a lot. And I can't read me. We don't get that gift. It's only for others. I can get
Mm-hmm.
hits, but not like I can give Char or anybody else that talks to me. How many times I've been wrong, Char, for you?
Not many. And the other thing I was going to point out was that having these abilities, and I've discussed this with Karen at length because they love to go to the casinos. Her and her husband.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of the questions that I get from people are, well, she's psychic. Why can't she win more? Because the universe doesn't work that way. The
Mm-mm,
universe
mm-mm.
still looks upon that as an unfair advantage. So therefore, they
Oh,
don't give
yeah.
psychics the ability to go, oh, I'm going to play this machine and I'm going to win. That's not how it works.
It doesn't work that way. In fact, I'll share today's my anniversary with my husband. And this is my second marriage, 21 years today. And he suggested we go to, are we on, Char? I don't,
Yeah, we're good.
anyway, today's my
Keep
anniversary.
plugging.
And he took me, in Orville, where I am now, is really a big retirement because we have the Great Big Lake next door. We have wonderful medical. We have Chico next door. I mean, half out down the freeway. And this is rolling hills and dales. It's gorgeous here. But it has two casinos,
Mm-hmm.
really big ones. And so Feather Falls, he took me there and we had a wonderful lunch. It was really good. And should we gamble? We didn't we don't bother because I cannot pick the winning machine. I pick the energy of the losing machines because it's greater. So if you lose
Uh-huh.
$1,000 on a machine, guess which machine I'm going to go, wow, that's a
Mm-hmm.
perfect machine. I got all this energy. It's not because you won, it's because you lost. And do I find a machine that's absolutely dead? I don't want to play that one either. So don't bother. So, but Feather Falls had a wonderful lunch. I had fish and chips. But anyhow, let me keep going. And I just said this, I want to start from the beginning. I believe a life chosen is a life knowing choices and ultimately the life purpose. You don't come into this without knowing what you're choosing. And how we come to choices is our presumed free will. So while you're walking the path of life, and I say to you, you're going to end up over here, how you get
Mm-hmm.
there has to be your free will. You cannot make a mistake. But while you're walking that path, You may have crossroads. You go, oh, I got to call Nancy. I got to know which one I'm going to take. No, you're not going to make the mistake, but the anxiety you go through to have that is your free will. Think about that for a minute, right? So I said to you once before, and it's a little further down, Donna Vasquez said all those years ago, free will is choices that you have to make to the presumed the
I
free
see a
will.
cat. There it is.
Yeah, what I worry about sometimes, I apologize, everybody, I'll repeat that, is just jumping on the keyboard here. You know, this is where they sleep, so it's hard. I'm a tool. I've had a lifetime to hone in on my hearing and seeing to help you who can hear your words my way. I'm very direct. I don't use, I cannot create beautiful words. I have an engineering background. And before that, I was in accounting. I'm a linear thinker. So I was an artist, and they saw my abilities and put me in uh, design and drafting. In those years, we do everything up in the field. I was the one that went to the engineer with the little wheel, and we measured out everything for conduit. Then I became supervisor. So I got into this, and I love beautiful things, but flowery, those kinds of things. I'm just like right there. I say what I say, and so you have to choose who you can hear, and that's the difference between all of us. Okay. And so I've had some cases, and at two or three different ones I want to speak to tonight. Um, this is in the past 2011, 2012. And one of these girls, I'm going to mention, I did bring these up before, and I want to share with you. I have found more out. I'd like if these ladies are ladies now, because it's been at least 10 years, 12, 13 years. So these girls, 27, 17, 18-year-olds, so probably near 30 and more. So if they hear this, I'd love to hear from you. One of the gals, uh, both of them are high school, wanted to be a fashion designer. And she was talking about the schools and where she was going to go. And it was turbulent to her because as my granddaughters are picking a similar creative field, it's hard when both parents are professional engineering kind of people. They have expectations. And you can't do that to your children. You have children so they can create their path, not you create their path. You may think you are helping, but you're not, you're hindering. So the goal of that life is to create their own path. And so this young girl was in a little bit of turmoil on what to do. And I don't remember, I think it was a negative mom or anything, but I remember the conflict. And just as I said that, I saw a figure of a woman, and I knew it was a past life. And I mentioned this a few months, 2 months back or something. And someone said, well, you know who Coco Chanel is? I go, no, I'm a country girl. I had horses and we ran. And after the divorce, I did other things. Never was fashion. I have some pretty clothes, but I found this blue T-shirt looks better on camera. So there you are, right? What do I know? So I described this lady. I think it was like 2 weeks back, who I know. And the girl said, "Do you know who you described me?" I go, "No, I don't know." And I said, laughingly, I'm a country girl. I don't know anything about this. And she said it's Coco Chanel. And then her mother heard that in the background because I said people can be born from a grandpa was dying upstairs in the hospital, downstairs in a couple hours the granddaughter was having a child. Guess who showed up? Grandpa. It can be minutes, seconds. And then it could be hundreds of years. And I've had people on YouTube say, oh, it's hundreds of years. Really? Well, that's not what I'm hearing. And I've had so many readings, groups and people entertained. It just, I'll have someone in a big audience, 200 or 300 people, and I'll see someone and I says, you were, and I'll describe it. The mother sitting next to her having a heart attack saying, oh my God, that was my dad. I mean, come on. So I go visually. It doesn't matter if you believe it or not. I've got to tell you what I'm seeing. So anyway, and I said, spirit people kind of gave me the hint. It was 25 years. What's 25 years represent? Well, it's memory of somebody, 2 generations, 2 decades plus, that my great granddaughters will eventually, sooner than later, forget me when I pass. But my daughter and her daughter and grandson, they will remember me. But it takes about 25 years after I die for them to get to the age, because my daughter will last 25 years. And then shortly after that, they'll forget about me because they'll have children and grandchildren, great grandchildren. So we're here they watch us, and it's average 25 years. So 25 years after Coco Chanel died, my client was born. And I said, I will look her up because the mom did that. I said 25
Mhm.
years, and you could hear the mom in the background, you know, she was looking her up, and it was 25 years exactly. And of course, if I'm going to solidify a belief, do something like that, because I think it's hard for people when I'm talking to come up with things, and they go, wait a minute, do I even want to believe in that? I finally believe in Nancy and what you do, but you're going to throw out that I was Coco Chanel. It's really amazing. And the other girl was a woman, and she didn't tell me ahead of time. She was talking about all kinds of things, a boyfriend, I think, and where she was going to go to college. We're not on the air. I don't know about going to college and all. And she never brought up that she was a ballerina until I was shown a ballerina, and I found her. So, young lady, if you see this, call me up because I did find it was a ballerina in Russia, and what I was shown was what we call the big hall in the castle or big building. And she was ballerining, doing her things that she listened to me. I feel so. It was in her mind. I heard, "This is my last dance for the king." And I was so overwhelmed. I went, I cry really easy on this stuff. I just love it. Ah, and it was her last dance, and she was beautiful. And just recently, I heard of a ballerina that was 60 years old, and her last dance is when she was 60 or 62 for the king of Russia or Prussia. And I thought, oh my God, I thought she was only in her 40s because it seemed like a really long time ago. It was like 1800s. But actuality, she danced until she was 60s, early 60s. And I thought, how can I get to this girl? And believe it or not, I have most of the readings. I think she was 2012 or 11 and 12. And Shar and I were, at about that time, both our computers broke, 2011 or 12. And that turnover to a new computer, I lost some readings. And I was reminded by my tech guy in Texas, by the way, your computer broke at that time. Do you remember that? So I love it. So those girls get in touch with me. I would love to reconnect. So I did find it. The other one that was, now we're talking past life regression. These are two incidences where that past life is brought forward and they didn't have to sit through a past life regression. So this third one I've mentioned before also. And why do I mention things? Well, it's because you remember them. When I start going through 33 words, 30 years worth of recordings, I have tens of thousands of readings. And so this one is a young girl in New York. And she called me, and she was very young, like out of college, just getting out of college, 22, 23. And she was married. And I really don't remember all that we talked about. And all of a sudden, a picture showed up. And I thought, oh my gosh, here's another one. Does this young lady and her family even believe in this past life? I come from a Catholic background, and my husband's Catholic, and went through their classes, high noon mass wedding. It was not something I could talk about. So it's only been about 7 years out of these 33 that have embraced the idea of reincarnation. So here you are, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, these people are going to hang up on me if I say this. And here's this young man. He was dark haired, slighter built, maybe 5'7", 5'8", white coat, regular clothes underneath, standing next to Henry Ford. And Henry Ford had his hand on the first car. It was actually not a car, it was a platform with a handle with a motor. It was very rudimentary. And I described this to the young girl. I says, why am I seeing this? Are you an inventor in this lifetime? Why am I being told you should know yourself? And I don't remember. So she's another one I would like to have come forward. It's been quite a while, 15, 20 years, but 10 years at least, 10 years now. It was before 2011. But anyway, when I saw it, I thought, I have to tell these kids what this is about, even though if I don't know. Anyway, it was probably a month later, and they both called me. He was on another phone or something, and they had found the picture as I described it. So I started realizing and embrace the idea that a lot of times I'll see spirit people in different outfit than they remember. And it's because you have a photograph as I'm describing it.
Mhm.
Somehow you'll find that, oh, I recognize her or him because I have a photograph like that. And I told you once before, spirit people, they show up as you remember, like, oh, grandma, like maybe another 10 years, I'm going to look like a really old grandma, and maybe I'll show up that way. Or those who knew me younger or healthier, like when I was a 29-year-old, prime of my life, I was very, that was a good year. So would I come back that way, or I show up very old? So it's that kind of a thing, your choice. So a lot of times people say, oh, there's children, there's a young child, young woman. Well, we don't know what age they were the happiest. Sometimes children are actually old people who don't want to show old. They'd rather go to the age of innocence. And that has happened. I've actually felt that. So they just called me back and said, oh my gosh. So it wasn't a regression, but for some reason their spirit soul needed confirmation, either of survival, or they have a common interest that needed to be supported by the idea that this was possible, or they were inventors. The two young ladies were given the confidence of the one lived experience to pursue this life's passion once again to completion. So even though they were both successful, the 60-year-old ballerina and Coco Chanel, who did die at an older age, they picked a life with the aptitude to pursue it again. I'm not done. I'm going to do it again. So I'm hoping that these two young ladies had pursued it. Of the young couple who found the picture belonging to the wife, the confirmation of that life will continue to enjoy and learn in this life. And these life experiences will benefit the next, period. What you learn this time, you can take forward as an aptitude as you have heard of prodigies. They'll say at the computer. Well, my father was a wonderful artist, and he got a scholarship to Rome to study under masters there. Guess what happened that summer? I mean, the war broke out before he could get there. So he was never able to. Instead of that, he joined the military. So it's unfortunate. Maybe he's going to come back and pursue art again. He was an artist for Universal Studios, and he did the portraits of the actors and actresses for the Universal Studios. So he entered this in the 50s. All you saw in the hallways were these wonderful 4x5 pictures of movie stars, and that's who he was. So, but the universe had another plan. He was taken out at 33. And so I will also speak to a continued love. So say this young couple with Henry Ford, they're excited about life, they do wonderful things, and they are in love. I felt a wonderful relationship with them. What if it's over? They can now pursue a next life together. We are not limited in this life only. And for you young kids that break up with somebody, if it's meant to be, it will be for you to choose next time. And I've told them to heal. You go outside, you look at the stars, you release the energy of grief. And you say to the stars, I want to talk to the divine. I would like to speak to this individual next time in between, so we can discuss a new life together again. That's all you have to do. And that is shown very fun at the end of the movie, What Dreams May Come. And Made in Heaven was another one where they chose to seek out and have love again on earth. Wonderful, wonderful movies. And so the statement, which I've said many, many times, what will be will always be. What cannot be can never be. We spend a lot of time grieving over what we think we should have, could have, would have done. In reality, the life you chose was not for that action. That's really hard, even in my own life, Sharp. I mean, we talk about it, right? A young woman calling over a year ago with doubts of never having a child. The anguish, and I'm going to blend these because it's too hard to separate. So we have regular reading and then a reading with past life, and then past life regression. So I'm going to kind of float back and forth with it. Stop. I spent a lot of hours trying to figure out how to present this topic tonight. This is the best I can do, guys. A very young woman calling over a year ago with doubts of never having a child. The anguish of failing to bring a child into their marriage. We started talking, and before she told me the entire story, I asked if she was pregnant. Now? No. She didn't believe so. Her story continued as she told me the story of their struggles. So she's somebody that I won't stop a storyteller, but it won't cost you as much if you just let me talk. So in some ways, she had to release the stress that was in her chest of this anguish. And of course, I get very emotional too. I allow you to have your story, but that doesn't mean I'm not affected. So just listen to me now. I can hear her in my ear. A couple weeks later, she called to say she had been pregnant at the time of the reading. But a week later, when she found out, it was because she was miscarrying. And here she was telling me her struggles to get pregnant. She was when I talked to her, and then she lost it. So the anguish was double, triple fold. I did mention and remind her that I saw her pregnancy in the summertime and would be announcing to family and friends of upcoming child. I got a call last week, everybody, that she was 7 weeks pregnant. This is where it's interesting. The following week, which would have been this week, she was scheduled to go out of state for IVF introduction. So she had to travel. She made plans. And the week before she left, was going to leave, she found that she was pregnant. And she was 7 weeks pregnant. And now she didn't need to go. As of this May, she would probably wait until July to announce, middle of summer, that she's pregnant. I did describe the child, which, if I'm given it, I'm going to. Masculine soul will come in, and what he would look like, along with some personality tendencies. And I tell you, as strong a woman as I am, there's nothing finer than a baby to snuggle up with. So that's what I was seeing, is someone holding the baby, a little chubby wubby, with a little olive complexion, and muscular. And I says, oh, he's going to do this and this and this. And she was just thrilled. What really took it to another step is I have a friend who works with the mother. And all these family members have talked to me. And the mom knows. And she says, I can't tell anybody I'm about ready to split. And now it's going to be a boy. And it's this. She says, it's going to be so much fun. Now, why did I bring this up? What will be will always be. What cannot be can never be. I would not miss anybody if I didn't see an outcome. I only see the end result. How many pregnancies or how many are not, the soul can change. By the way, that's the wrong baby. Oh, wrong sex, off couch. I had a friend in a telephone company where she was a supervisor in Tahoe, and I was, her clerks were my satellite office. I was out of Auburn. Loved her. And we got into this. We were talking about it, and she says, I'm going to go have a reading. It was before I got into this because I was demonstrating some abilities, right? And so she went to a psychic up there, South Lake Tahoe, I think, and she was devastated. She didn't even want to talk to me about it. I go, you gotta tell me. And she was just beside her at the point, and I wasn't in this yet, to understand. And she said the psychic looked at her and said, the wrong twin died. Just think about that for a minute. She never told me that she had a twin that died, and it was a male. Now, what makes it more difficult is when she was born, it was a difficult, and she was injured. So the perfect son died, and the damaged girl lived. Think about that for a moment. Now, I'm masculine. I own it. And I'm very active, and so was she. So people didn't see her as a gentle female. They saw her differently. And the wrong twin died. And she was devastated. So if you're hearing this tonight, I have missed talking to you. I would like to know, and I think you lived in Truckee the last time we talked. So give me a call. I won't say your name on the air, hon. But if you hear this, please give me a call. I would love to hear from you again. So it's, okay, so we keep on going. This is another story, and this was 3 days ago, and then last night, and today. These are just like right now. And I thought, well, that's odd. Not really, right? So this is a grown-up lady with grown-up children. She is a single lady, so I'm going to call her Miss M. Cat's jumping down. She called and had a session with me 3 days ago. Wednesday the 15th. We talked of finding another job and establishing her dream desire to establish her own company, doing what she does for this large company. Oops. As we were slowing down, she then brought, and so we wind down on her hour, right? And as we're going down to the last 5 minutes, she says, I want to talk to you about my son. Okay. Mr. D. And he's the oldest of the children, and he lives in Georgia. And after, is he the oldest? Well, it's his son. The other one is a daughter. After a mutually agreed breakup from his lady, the uncertainty of working in his field was very apparent because they had a business together. They were going to break up. He had to move, and it was like everything was falling apart. And it was a very difficult time for him to focus. And he was telling his mother of the turmoil he was in. Of course, us mothers, if my son called me up and said that, of course, we're going to think, oh, fudge, what am I going to do? I'm, 2 states away, 1 state away, and you don't know what to do, right? So they call Nancy. Years ago, a lot of years ago, because he's 30, I think. I described to him a turning point in his life, and it was going to be a white building, big white square building. I described the layout of the land, the trees, how you would park to get into it, no windows on one side, that white stucco look. So about a year ago, before this session, he had applied for a job, and it was a different kind of photography job. And excuse me. And he went to get to the job, and it was a half a state away. So you know how you put it in GPS and get there. We drove up to the building, and it was a big white stucco building. And he went nuts, and he told the girlfriend sitting next to him, and they had listened to the readings. They go, "Oh my God, this is the building." They call me up, "Is this the building?" I go, "Feels like the building." Well, he had the interview, and he was accepted, but the job wasn't for a couple months, and they called him up, and it was something out of country, Mexico. And it was wonderful, wonderful. It was one job. So this is a company that has opportunities. So that had been now, it's been about 6 months. And so with the breakup, the white building didn't come through with more, but I said, you're going to get another job, and the white building's going to come again. And I remember telling him all those years ago, this was a turning point in his life. Well, guess what? He doesn't get to live in the house he's in. His lady broke up with him, and he didn't have a job. Guess what's going to happen? It's going to be all different. So the white building is going to come through, but he has to get this other job first. What will be will always be. What cannot be can never be. The white building is going to come through because they liked him. And I told Miss M, I said these words. They loved him. There's 2 people that see him with a lot of potential, but they haven't figured out how to work it. Doing this one job in Mexico has given the idea. I can't tell you too much because I haven't been given permission. This new thing that took them out of the country. They're going to see a lot of bigger dollars doing that than what they were doing in this marketing business, right? So I can say that, right? And I see him on the cutting edge of this. And then I wrote down, because she asked me to type it up, I saw Africa, Greece, Africa, and then England. And it was like, and then I said to her as I typed it up, I sent it to her, I says, what is it? National Geographic? What is this? And so she got the reading, and she was telling her son about this and how I explained to be overseas. And he says, Mom, how many times did I ever talk to you about wanting to be international with what I do? I want to travel the world. He broke up with a girlfriend. It kind of opens the door. And he says, what did you try to explain that I'm going to be a National Geographic? And at that point, she says, oh my God, Nancy just typed this all up. Let me send it to you. Where I described and said, what does he do in getting a National Geographic? This very same word showed up. So what's the value of people like me? I'm not a mind reader. I'm not that good. Thank goodness, right? Would you be afraid of you talking to me? Oh, she can read minds. What am I thinking? What am I thinking? Well, it was one reason I left the telephone company, because people avoided me like the plague. You can appreciate, I left and I started this in 90. Mitch Mitchum, 3rd level, I was skip level to 3rd, he got married. And I was his entertainment. And you can appreciate 145 people showing up. Oh my God, Nancy was spooky. Oh no, oh no. I went, oh, please. It really encouraged me to step outside my comfort zone. Anybody get into this, they say, oh, how can you just give up everything? I says, what's your passion? If you have passion for something, you will work and make it happen, right? That's it. So anyway, Um, so with that, his passion is to have international travels to see the world. Isn't that too bad he broke up with his girlfriend? No, and he lost his place to live. Oh, don't you find that interesting? Now he doesn't have encumbrances. He's got to find this one job to pay some bills, and then the white building's going to come through, and he's going to travel around the world. Let me ponder that for a minute. So he chose this life for these experiences to be able to do international travel. How great is that, right? So, um, okay. So I've talked about the white building, the interview. Several months later, accepted to do a job in Mexico. Told mom they felt really liked him, and then she called me. We talked again. She says, I wasn't aware, but he just told me that he was well liked. There was two people that really liked him, and they'll keep his number absolutely. And Miss M, if I missed the words up, the content is the same. um, okay, let's see. I've already talked about Greece, Africa, and then England in that order. Okay. Uh, this was a long one. Oh, so she said next day she talked to him and asked to get graphic came up. This was one reason I typed this up. Um, Timeline unfolding, meaning when I do a session, people say they can feel me around their neck and their shoulders, you know, and that's great, right? I have to go with time, and time is the entrance at the base of your neck, right where you have this little dip. And go, how do you know this? Well, I've done so many groups that when I read like 30, 40, 50 people, which Spirit of Grace, I actually went up to 50 for about 2.5 hours Halloween every year. It got more, after 15 years, you do big groups of people, and it was perfectly fun. I was young enough to deal with it. But in groups of people, I saw a lot of this adjusting, like this, right? And it occurred to me, they're all doing the same thing. So I must be entering the same area. And time, when it's unused, not used, it goes forward and it feels like thick jello. When you go back, and that's why I get a lot of back information, it's slippery, slidey, like water on a piece of glass, right quick. When you get a reading from me, this has come up. What comes first, the chicken and the egg? Am I giving him the idea to pursue the white building again? Or does he go to another company, get a job, white building comes forward, and then he finds another job based on that training that puts him on the path? Was it always his path to do this, or did they interject Nancy in here somewhere versus somebody else? Why not? Anybody else? That gave him the idea that this was possible for his life. So he said, or she said, my feet are now on the ground. I feel grounded. Like this is possible because this woman knows nothing about my international interests. She knows nothing about what I've been through to get here. I'm a tool. This is a tool. Okay, just because I blend with and become you doesn't mean that there are other good people out there to do this. Okay, this is a learning experience here. Okay, not a wow me. Because if I go there, if ego gets in the way, it gets blocked. You have to be humble. You're working for the universe, the divine. He, she who rules all. Okay, got it? As we continued to talk, she also mentioned that the lady I took, this is Miss M out of Florida. As we continued to talk, she also mentioned that the lady I talked to about a year ago, or more, because I wasn't remembering her, within her company, that she would marry Mr. B and that a female soul would be coming to them both. Well, she says that has happened. I go, what's happened? Mr. B did propose, they married, and shortly afterwards she became pregnant. The child is due in August. And she says, well, the baby's a girl, just like you said. Of course it is, was her answer. I'm a tool. This is what I do, okay? And if you practice enough, you would too. You have to have the passion to spend the time. Same story of a couple later in years, fertility issues. This lady called and she didn't tell me her age. I didn't have a picture of her. I never want a picture of someone if it's not necessary. And she called very, very upset. She just married this fella, and they've been trying for years to have a child. And all these are just different storylines, but the same thing. Want to know if having a child was in her future. I described child born in the fall would be female. Year later, or a little longer, yes, she was pregnant with her first child. Then she mentioned she was in her 40s, and her husband was her age or older, and that she hadn't had any at this age. She didn't know she could. She tells me this a female, and eventually sent me pictures of the little girl. How fun! Of the real estate agent who was single and desiring a child. I told her of a male coming in, a big baby with a critical eye. You know those children that look at you sideways like, you can't tell me, I get you. You know, they're really critical. They come in with so much past life, they know it all. I guess the nods out there. And temperamental, hard to raise. Oh my goodness. I remember this lady. I almost said her name. So she's in Arizona, Cave Creek or Cave something rather, North Phoenix Valley. Um, I was able to be involved in the Evolving Times Expos in Sacramento, California, and these expos had up to 5,000, 6,000 people coming. And one time I remember, well, both of them, pardon me, I think 3 or 4. How many years did they have them? I worked all of them. And so one year she showed up. She was on a bit of a thing, like 5'1", and above her head she started yelling, Nancy, Nancy. And she's holding up this big baby. Here he is. She had a hand on his head and one arm. Here he is, just like you described him. And I'm looking at her. I'm thinking, what did I say? She said, here he is, just like you said. She had moved from Citrus Heights to Arizona, and this now little boy, big boy, is about at least 20 years old. And why did I bring her up? Another woman that didn't know she would have a child. She wasn't married. She created opportunity to have this child. And so her life's fulfilled, and she went and lived in Arizona, and she's still there. And so I'll say again, and those of you who had a lot of miscarriages, every soul that comes to you and experiences life, no matter how long it is an entire emotional experience with them. Remember that. Also want to add that those people who come in a lifetime with damages. I've read a couple whose boy was very, very damaged, if that's not right. Multiple birth defects. How about if I word it that way? And the young man told me, he says, I would love to have been a football player. After all these years, the mom told me he never did, but he showed me this big, beautiful body. I would have liked to do this, and I would have looked like this. Thought that was odd. Then I realized later on that the mom called me about something they were not associated with him. But he told me in that first reading, he says, I chose this life to have a rest, unconditional love. I can love and they'll love me for the rest of my life. So those who are disabled in any manner, their life is pure love. Those people who take care of the child, whether parents are involved or somebody else, those children have unconditional love. And they tell me those children come in from a life so turbulent, they want to come back and rest. And that rest and being taken care of is why people come into this lifetime like that. I found it hard because wouldn't you want a life where you could do more? If you, let me think here. Next lifetime? Tough life I've had. I'm tired at times, right, Shar? Maybe we
Yep.
should come back. I'd like to
Maybe
come
we
back as a
should.
mermaid and just swim all day. Is that, or I'll come back as a horse and have some. Oh, it's terrible. I sure said that. Watch out, everybody. I won't do that. I don't. My kids will let me. But so those lifetimes where damages, those children have chosen that body for this life experience, knowing that you will love them, and they're here for a rest. Now, I don't want to address those and write me about a child 2, 3, 4 years old and died. I don't have answers for everything. But Spirit has told me for the shortest lifetimes, they come in because you're pregnant, you experience pregnancy, everybody, you give birth, the trauma, the drama, and then they have the love and the caring until they can leave. You just never know. I had a lady friend that she had a condition that was passed on to the infant, and a month later it died. It died of that condition. It was very upsetting. It was in the late 70s, I think it was. Um, late 70s, early 80s that this happened, and it was a terrible thing. Like I said, this doesn't mean I'm cold hearted. It means I have a greater understanding, and I wouldn't want it to happen to anybody in my family or myself. Though I did have miscarriage once, and kind of wonder in all of that, what was that about? Don't know. We all need our efforts to be counted, that we are not swimming in the quagmire of indecision and restlessness, that we will reach our goals and not waste our time. I am a tool, and that if you trust in the life you choose and the experiences to unfold, you'll reach the goal you set for yourself. And I'm going to mention Shar. With Shar and her past life regression, it was determined that the rancher in her past life worked so hard to establish himself as a rancher and to a level of success. Yet in his mind, he never received the recognition for all the years of devotion to his farm and animals and the wealth that could have come from it. So even though he had a beautiful life, mountains and valleys and trees and beautiful, beautiful, no one gave him credit for the hard work. Let me think. Wasn't his wife working that hard? Don't know. But for him personally, he felt like he had worked so hard and never got the recognition. So we talked about it, and this lifetime, she chose this body for a lifetime of hard work and commitment to family. She was given the choice and obstacles of family. So in that life, we didn't feel the family. In this one, she does. She gave up her life for the family. Now free of these obstacles, she learned from the past life not to be afraid of hard work. Now to make the reward even sweeter, she said before being born, oh, let's pick that body. It's all messed up. Challenges. Hey, yeah, let's have challenges on the way. Now, if I'm successful, I overcame family. I overcame my challenges of my physical issues, which I'll have, but she made sure she had some. I have to say, Shar, I've known you for 23, 24 years. How long? I don't even know, huh?
Long time.
Long time. One of the hardest working vlogger. What do you call these shows? Vlogging? What do they call them?
Podcast?
Podcasts. I like the word
Podcast.
podcast better. Working podcasts out there, and I know these kids all work hard, and some of it's just handed on a silver platter to come up with something great. I mean, easy. And Shar put, I think this is amazing. So we'll see where it goes. But the recognition she's got up to this point of hard work, the family, the illnesses, and this is it. Oh, heck yeah. So in my mind, my being associated with her on this level, I could see her soul going, I won the battle. Yeah, I got it. It's satisfying. It's very satisfying. What she does next time, we'll see. I mean, maybe she'll be an actress. Who knows? Finally, a young man, this is another story. Finally, a young man married, waiting for that pregnancy to happen, and um, newly acquainted to people like himself. Introduced him to the. We had a wonderful talk, and he was sharing with me, and this is just in the last couple months, how it's been very stressful not getting pregnant right away, and it's kind of surprised me. I've talked about 4 cases, but it happens a lot. Having a child when you're older. He's in his 30s, and it didn't happen when it's supposed to. So I introduced him, and I encourage you to go to these channels. I've sent a lot of people to them, and I should probably try to get credit, right? The channel's on YouTube called LMN, and one of the playlists is like Ghost of My Child of Reincarnation Stories, and the other website that I like is Verification of Children's Past Lives, something like that. It's wonderful. There's stories of these 2, 3, and 4-year-olds that come in with knowledge. They talk early. Their mobility is much easier and greater. I see that with both my kids. Some of these things pop up. Very smart, quick to talk. Um, and I remember saying to somebody, my daughter is quiet. And the next day she started talking to her. I remember thinking, she's never quiet. She just talks all the time. And what I've learned over 33 years, what will be will always be. What cannot be can never be. Do you think if I said it enough times, you're going to get it? Don't you think we're struggling a little too much on this, right? And so he wrote me a note after that, and he says, I can't believe you changed my life. And it was the stress and struggle of having a child. Yet these children talk about all the past lives they've had and why they picked the parents they did. And I said, the child that you will have could not come earlier than the day it's meant to happen. The children I describe is the one that needs to be born, not sooner nor later. And I says, what the best thing you could do is go home and love your wife. Just have a loving relationship. Um, that there would be a child, and that child will come to become the child I described. After a few more details, he changed the topic to his tech career job. I described what I saw, the pump people, the company he wouldn't be involved in, and this took up most of the 45 minutes that we were talking. Um, and then the very last sentence, we were already hanging up, and I said, I see you involved with tech for people and you living on the moon. And he's in his late 30s now, I think 37. I heard this, what? And I go, what? He said, on the other end, all my life, and telling family from a very early age, I think he said he was 5, that I wanted to work on the moon. And you just casually, as a last statement of our session, just let fall out of your mouth that I'll be working on the moon. And I said, yeah. I started walking on the dirt of the moon. And I just replied, well, you showed me the surface of the moon. And all I did was tell you what you showed me. Your higher self wanted you to know that your wishes to do this would be fulfilled. I cannot tell you what you should not know. I will tell you what I get so you do know. Are you writing this down, everybody? Some of these are profound statements. Know this, I cannot tell you anything unless your consciousness, soul wants you to know. These words, visions, are not something I can arbitrarily conjure up. Wouldn't work on somebody else if I said, by the way, you'll be on the moon because I'm a waitress. Doesn't work with everybody. He connected a couple weeks later to discuss the inventions and company he wants to create, and in the process said I had given him new energy to pursue his dreams. So that's some of the value of having a reading. Not me, anybody you are connected with, get referrals. I'm the one you choose, so be it. I just want to teach you about this. A few weeks later, he emails for past life regression. He has gained a lot of confidence to do these goals, yet something did not feel completely right within him, and asked for this session to clear up some questions. As we started, I felt a need to tell him that most people are visuals. I'm very visual when I do past life regression. And if you will not see past life, that unconsciously the belief is still on the fringe. So don't think that, and now, pardon me, with Shar, she's not a visual, she's an emotional feeler. This fella was on the verge of just, this is so new to him. I don't know if he could get to a place to say, oh, past life, of course I could. Let me see. Sure enough, as we started, I had to help him to go deeper. I have a little ability to, don't give all your secrets away. I help somebody deeper. I just put it that way. Okay, I've done it many, many times. Deeper level, sure enough, as we started, I had to help him go to a deeper level than through suggestion. And of course, it goes a little faster, and gave him an energy boost while I was at it. As we progressed to a viewing screen, he felt the glass door putting his imaginary hands on the glass on either side, and then he still had his eyes closed. I cannot see. And I went, oh, like Char, oh fudge, I have to redirect all my questions. Instead of seeing something and describing, feel what that person's about. Feel what you have on. So it was really fun. It's fun. And I don't get too many, but I realized at that moment that he was on the fringe of wanting to believe and never experienced this before. So as we progressed to the viewing screen, he had felt the glass door, putting his hands up there, but realized his eyes were closed. So I had him imagine as the first person he would see would be him from a past life. And I said to him, in that vision of yourself, you're stepped through the glass, you're still safe where you are, put your hands on your clothing, feel the ground. What are you, went through all those, and he was able to have a sense of who he was, plus the circumstances of their life. We went through that lifetime, and I made suggestions of him being shown several lifetimes where the scenes would change. Um, and he would have an emotional feeling and attachment to that life. And that was very satisfying for him, but I was seeing the lives. So several shown several lifetimes where the same challenges were given. He felt, I saw, and when done, it was an evaluation of these lives were entrapments of potential. Very similar to what Char, but different. Like the lives he went through, the 3 or 4 of them, were all situations where people were trapped, like a washerwoman in the bottom of a big building or castle. She never had anything but she was brilliant. But that was her lot. She was trapped, and no potential was ever given to her. Okay, we're all entrapments of potential. He was given this life to finally achieve an amazing goal of his choice. So not only was he going to be able to hit the potential of his life, but he could choose any direction he wanted. And of course, his inside person, his spirit, his soul got very excited because that evaluation of this spot right here. I've got confused on words. I didn't mean to say some of those. The revelation of that past life being held back and no potential given. Now he has it all. And he picked a life to where he could succeed like Shar. That's why I put this up. When we were done 50 minutes later, he said, wow, that went really fast. I said, yeah, 50 minutes. He says, I only felt like 5 minutes. Well, it's a sure sign of a deep relaxation session, everybody. That's a good sign. He felt wonderful. I get a little boost. I want people to feel good. I feel he had some relief, but that did not make this up. That he did not make anything up. That what I saw confirmed what he felt, because I was describing the lives visually where he had experienced them emotionally. That he is digesting all the information and implications of what these abilities can give, and the idea that is what we see every day is just a visual of our complex universe. Meaning he's now got to a place where we're not living just in the visuals of our lives. We're living in a quantum world of interfolding emotions and feelings from all the past lives coming in on us. Where you meet somebody for the first time is instant, I like that person. Or you meet somebody and you don't want to talk to them. In all these years, I've only had 3 people that I didn't want to talk to. Just vibrationally, we were not going to be able to get anything. And one was a very attractive young woman that you would think, oh, Nancy, you love talking to young people. And I couldn't. It was like she sat down. I went, wow, something's really, I wouldn't have been successful, and she would have seen it as a failure, could have destroyed her. We just don't know. So when I mentioned earlier that when I do a reading anywhere in the world, how do I get there? Just the idea that I can get an answer talking to people in Europe, Singapore, Australia, Malta, Greece, all these different countries. And you think, how can you get that answer when I have that great distance to go to? How do you do that? It's not through our mouthpiece. This is the little headset I wear. And so I'm talking into this and instant things to get an answer. My life force has to be there to be able to do that. What's interesting is one of the people, and I always call it the Italy people, they have 3 children in the United States, so they'll ask about each one of them in turn. And I go to them, to a child, back to them, to me. How does that work? Well, if that's possible, and clearly it's possible, I've been doing this for 33 years, then some of these other things is also possible. If I can describe your grandpa in a photograph, or if you tell me just a name I can talk about, how's that possible? So why not have past life? Why not have future life? Especially if reincarnation of children's, verification of children's reincarnation stories. Ghost in My Child, LMN's channel, the playlist there. It's unbelievable. It's exciting to think that we can get information. And I said to somebody the other day that what percentage of the population even believes in this? Well, my comment was the ones who do are the ones who have access to us are the ones that have maybe evolved a little bit more. And the ones who choose not to believe in this or accept the possibility of this, those are the ones that want to work their life the hard way. You want to gut it out and do it your way no matter what. And I know people like that, and I'll never bring this up. Yet in my life, even here in Orville, I've had people, I'm not going to, if a spirit person walks up to you, to me, to the person I'm talking to, what do you do with it? Like, and that's happened a lot. And I'll look at that spirit person, and the person I'm talking to, they'll say, what are you looking at? And they don't know what I do for a living. And I'll have to be really coy, and I'll say, I was born with a special gift. Remember that TV show, everybody? And I can't help but see there's a spirit man next to you. Would you be open to find out who that is? I've never had anybody say no. In fact, one lady across town, I mentioned, I said, oh my God, I see someone, I was like, we were talking and I'm admitting to what I do for a living. And I said to her, I see someone right next to you now. And she just brushed it off. Well, about a month later, she calls me over. She says, can I talk to you? Who was that lady? So I saw 3 people, and I started describing them. And she thinks she knows who I was talking about. But that's a pretty rude awakening. Like, who's this person telling me that I have spirit people walking around? It's wonderful. If you have an ability, I encourage you to take training and step up. I'm not going to be here forever. We need somebody to replace me. I think I covered all my notes. 10 pages. Cool. Yep. I hope you people enjoyed this. Thank you for listening, everybody.
It was really good. Really good. Good. Excellent.
Hi, Marissa and Debbie. We have a small room tonight. It must be a lot on TV tonight.
A lot of stuff
or
going
better
on.
weather. People are out.
Better weather.
Yeah.
But anyway, great. It was a great show. Thank you, Nancy, as always. And again, I will be back on Sunday. Let's see. So, yes, I'll be reading Scottish ghost stories on Sunday. And
fun.
And tomorrow night, remember, look out for that link. As soon as I get off here, I'm going to set up a link for tomorrow night's Creature Features. I think it's 8 p.m. Pacific, and it'll be over at their YouTube site, so we can all watch it together for fun. So
you could have started tonight. Look, it's only 7:47.
Yeah, they're not doing one tonight. They're not going to be doing any Friday nights till fall now. So it's all Saturday night. Hello, Michelle. Michelle's
Friday night, busy night.
Yeah. So that'll be tomorrow.
Oh, Michelle, hi.
I'll get you guys a link up on Facebook and over at Meetup and all those places so we can all watch Creature Features together tomorrow. Okay, now, Sunday, we will be listening to our reading from Scottish Ghost Stories. I think we're going to be finishing the book probably midway through on that one. So I do have a werewolf book, which is there's a unique story behind this werewolf book because I like TV.
Why not? Who are we to say?
Well, Nancy knows I like TV. Nancy knows I like TV. And, you never know if things you see on TV are actually real because, they'll doctor up stuff. And Little House on the Prairie, watching it, and there was a book introduced during one of the class sessions with the kids in the school about werewolves, written by a priest back in the, 1600s. And I thought, well, I'm just going to look that up over at my source, and sure enough, I found it.
How fun!
So, reading from that book, that'll be the next book to go. So if we finish midway through on Sunday, we'll be reading the werewolf book. Monday, we're going to be talking about poltergeists. There's a gentleman out there that has a paranormal team. He's done TV shows and other things. And he does research on poltergeist activity. So he's going to be talking about that on Monday. His name is Randy Liebeck. So he's going to be with us on Monday. So we got a big packed week next week for shows. And again, please check out the California Haunts Meetup page, California Haunts Paranormal Investigation Team Meetup, to check out those upcoming events. I'd really appreciate it. And again, I want you guys to have a great weekend.
Give us some thumbs up if you enjoyed it, everybody.
Yeah, give us some thumbs up and all that. Show us some love. And we'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow. In fact, let me see what Michelle's got going on. She's more in tune with creature features than I am. Hang on. What we got? Okay. Yeah, I see. So those are okay. Cool. So Michelle's just popped in. So yeah, and hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow so we can all watch creature features together. It should be a good one. In fact, Saturday night they usually bring in guests to interview during the show. That were maybe connected with the production or maybe knew a lot about a lot about the way the movie was made. So look out for that. I'll be posting that on Facebook. Those links and all that good stuff. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. And I hope to
Good
see you
night,
tomorrow.
everybody.
Otherwise, I'll see you Sunday. Okay? And Nancy, can you tell people how to get a hold of you before we sign off here?
nancymatzpsychic.com, nancymatzauthor.com, and on YouTube, Nancy Matz Psychic.
Okay.
How's that?
All right, guys, there you have it. We're out of here. Have a great weekend, and hopefully I'll see some of you tomorrow during Creature Features. Have a good one.
Bye.